So we were doing a new chapter in second year NCERT, unit number 7, molecular basis of inheritance. We told the important molecule which controls all the cellular activities is DNA. It's a genetic material, right? So in the first lecture, we have seen the historical background. In the second lecture, we discussed about the polynucleotide chain. In the third lecture, we have seen how Watson and Crick contributed to the discovery of the structure of the DNA that we have seen. Now in today's lecture, we will see the types of DNA, right? So our today's class goes with the types of DNA. So on different bases, we can classify them in different types. For example, on the basis of number of polynucleotide strands it is having, we can classify it as single stranded DNA or double stranded DNA. That is one basis. What is that? I am telling on the basis of number of polynucleotide chains. On the basis of number of polynucleotide chains. If it is having one chain, single stranded DNA. If it is having two chains, double stranded DNA. The picture what you can see here is having two chains. That means this is a double stranded DNA. So on this basis, we can divide it into single stranded DNA. This is the first way of classification. We can divide into single stranded DNA containing organisms and double stranded DNA containing organisms. We have to list the examples. Single stranded DNA containing organisms, we know one popular example, they have given an NCERT textbook also. Under the size they have given PIX174 bacteriophage has single stranded DNA as the genetic material, which has 5386 nucleotides. Do you remember that? So single stranded DNA containing organism, one example is PIX174 bacteriophage and the second example is M13 bacteriophage. So these two are the main examples. These both of them are bacteriophages only. Both of them will have single stranded DNA as the genetic material only. Whereas double stranded DNA is the most common type of genetic material. It is seen in plants, it is seen in animals, it is seen in bacteria, it is seen in protists, right? Everywhere. In majority of the viruses also, double stranded DNA is only the genetic material. So double stranded DNA, we will tell it is the common type of genetic material seen in prokaryotes, seen in eukaryotes also, plants, animals, bacteria, viruses, most of them will have double stranded DNA as the genetic material. So this is one way of classifying. Now when we see on the basis of their form, whether it is linear or circular, that's our second way of classification. We will do the second classification on the basis of form. On the basis of form, we are going to classify them into linear DNA, whether they have a linear DNA strand or are they having circular DNA. Now, linear DNA, you can see the picture right away here. It is linear. Linear DNA is present in viruses also. It's present in humans also. Circular DNA, prokaryotic DNA, bacteria has a circular DNA. And then organelle DNA, semi-autonomous organelles have their own DNA, mitochondria and plastids. They also have circular DNA. So, linear DNA, where do we find? Linear DNA, again I am telling it's a common type. And where do you find? Bacteriophages have linear DNA. Bacteriophages have linear DNA. And humans, we also have linear DNA. And where do you have circular DNA? Circular DNA will be present in bacteria, prokaryotes like bacteria. Prokaryotes like bacteria, it has circular DNA. Then again, semi-autonomous organelles are there in our body. What are they? In us, we have mitochondria and in plants, they are plastids. So, mitochondrial DNA we will write, and the plastid DNA is also circular DNA molecule. So, on one basis, what we have done the classification basing on the number of polynucleotide strains. One polynucleotide, single stranded DNA, two polynucleotides, double stranded DNA. The second one on the basis of their form, Is it linear or circular? The third one is basing on the genetic information, whether it is having hereditary information, means it is a nuclear DNA, or it is not having genetic information, extranuclear DNA. So on the basis of genetic information, we can go with the third classification. On the basis of genetic information, on the basis of genetic information, we can divide it into nuclear DNA and non-nuclear DNA, or we can tell it as extranuclear DNA. Let's go. One is nuclear DNA and the other one is extranuclear DNA. So, nuclear DNA is present in all the eukaryotes. In all the eukaryotes, inside the nucleus, we have a chromatin network, we have chromosomes that is responsible for inheritance, is called nuclear DNA. So, where do you find nuclear DNA? In all eukaryotes. In all eukaryotes, where is it found? Inside the nucleus. We have nuclear DNA which is responsible for inheritance of genes. Extranuclear DNA, plasmid DNA, small ring-like structures which are floating inside the bacterial cell, which confirms additional phenotypic characters like antibiotic resistant characters, are called plasmid DNA. So, plasmid DNA, small ringlet-like structures, right? What Cohen has observed, they are used as vehicles or vectors in biotechnology. So, one to many will be there per cell. So, what are these small ringlet-like structures called? It is a plasmid DNA. Where is the plasmid DNA found? Plasmid DNA is found in prokaryotes, bacteria. It's found in prokaryotic. It's found in bacteria. So, this is extranuclear DNA. So, plasmids are called as small circular extranuclear DNA which is used in biotechnology. Right, they act as vectors. Now, again, extranuclear means organelle DNA in eukaryotes also comes under extranuclear only. So, we are writing organelle DNA. Organelle DNA means what are the two organs which have their own DNA? One is mitochondrial DNA. Here we wrote. One is mitochondrial DNA and the other one is plastid DNA. So, in this board, what did we see? What types of classifications? On the number of strands. We have seen the second classification on the basis of linear or circular. The third classification where it is responsible for heredity or not involved in heredity. So, that also we have seen. The next classification we can do based on the number of helix, right-handed or left-handed. How many base pairs are there? So, there are 5 types of DNAs: aDNA, bDNA, cDNA, dDNA and zDNA. We can do that classification also. So, that will be our fourth classification. It is based on the number of helices. Type of helices. And the picture what you are seeing here, which was proposed by Watson and Crick, is a bDNA because it is a stable form of DNA. So, along with B, the other forms of DNA, scientists have used alphabets. Right? So, on the basis of what? On the basis of the type of helix. We are going to classify them under 5 types: A, B, C, D and Z. Let's do. So, aDNA, bDNA, cDNA, dDNA and zDNA. Now, we will see how many are right-handed helix, how many are right-handed helix. So, type of helix, correct? Type of helix. Children, among these 5 types, only zDNA is left-handed helix, all others are right-handed helix. So, A, I told it is right-handed helix. B, you can see there, B is also a right-handed helix only. So, this is also right-handed helix. And you can repeat the same for C and D also, only Z is left-handed. So, C is also right-handed helix. It rotates towards the right around the axis. D is again right-handed helix, but only zDNA will be a left-handed helix. Will be a left-handed helix. This is the first point. Now, next one, if we have to see the number of base pairs per turn, Let us write down the number of base pairs per turn. Number of base pairs per turn. We have seen that bDNA will have 10 base pairs per turn. This is bDNA has 10 base pairs per turn. A will have 1 plus, means 11 base pairs per turn. Reduce 1. C will have 9 base pairs per turn. D, reduce 1 more, 8 base pairs per turn. Z, 12 base pairs per turn. Z has 12 base pairs per turn. So, when it comes to the number of base pairs per turn, A will have 11, B will have 10, C will have 9, D will have 8, Z will have 12. Now, coming to the diameter of the helix, when we have to talk about the diameter, we know that the bDNA has a diameter of 20 angstroms. We know that the bDNA has a diameter of 20 angstroms. aDNA diameter will be 23 angstroms. It is more, right? This is also more. So, 23 angstroms. And cDNA has a diameter of 19 angstroms. dDNA, they couldn't calculate the diameter. zDNA has a diameter of 18 angstroms. So, the diameter of bDNA is 20 angstroms, aDNA 23 angstroms, cDNA 19 angstroms. For dDNA, they couldn't calculate. For zDNA, it is 18 angstroms. Then, if we have to see the pitch, right? Let us write down the pitch also. The pitch of the helix. We know bDNA's pitch is 34 angstroms, right? How to calculate the pitch? The number of base pairs into raised per base pair. For bDNA, we know it is 34 angstroms. For aDNA, the pitch is 25 angstroms. For aDNA, the pitch is 25 angstroms. For bDNA, we know it is 34 angstroms. For cDNA, it is 30 angstroms. And for dDNA, it is 24 angstroms. And the last one, zDNA, if we have to see, the pitch is 46 angstroms. It is more. Number of base pairs are more, pitch is also more. Understood? Then, if we have to see which is stable and which is unstable, I already told you, bDNA is the most stable form of DNA, all these things. Then aDNA, cDNA, dDNA, zDNA are unstable DNAs only. In terms of stability, we have to write. If we have to write the stability, so we are telling this is only the stable form. Then for this, just write unstable. For all others also, repeat the same, unstable form. This is also unstable form. This is also unstable form. We are left out with the last one. What is that? Raised per base pair. If we see, we will finish off the differences. The last one is raised per base pair. Raised per base pair. Again, we know the raised per base pair for bDNA, it is 3.4 angstroms. The raised per base pair here will be 3.4 angstroms here, 2.5 angstroms here, and here 3.3 angstroms. And for dDNA, it is 3.03 angstroms is a raised per base pair. And the last one is 3.8 angstroms. So, these are the values which go with the raised per base pairs. This is about the stability. This is the pitch value. The length is called pitch of the helix. The diameter of the 5 forms of DNA. The number of base pairs for the DNA. The types of the helix. Only zDNA, if you see here, only zDNA is a left-handed helix. All others are right-handed helix. And then if you see the number of base pairs, zDNA, again it is having more number of base pairs, right? And when we see the diameter, in terms of diameter, aDNA is having more diameter. aDNA is having more diameter. Now coming to the pitch, if you see, bDNA is having the highest pitch. How much it is? No, sorry, zDNA is having the highest pitch. It is 46 angstroms. In terms of stability, only bDNA is stable. Only bDNA is stable. Coming to raised per base pair, again zDNA only has the raised per base pair value more, 3.8 angstroms. So why? It is left-handed. Why? It is having 12 base pairs. And why? The pitch value is also more. the raised pair base pair is more, because in A, B, C, D, the repeating units are mononucleotides, but in Z, the repeating unit is a dinucleotide. In zDNA, the repeating unit is a dinucleotide, and Z stands for zigzag appearance. We don't have any specific ways why it's called A, why it's called B, C, D. Like Z stands for zigzag appearance, means, so zigzag, zigzag, zigzag means here this is one nucleotide and this is another nucleotide. Third nucleotide, fourth nucleotide, fifth nucleotide, sixth nucleotide, like that it goes, right? So because of the zigzag appearance, it is called zDNA, zigzag DNA. So what did we discuss? We discussed the classification basing on the number of nucleochains. We discussed the classification basing on linear or circular. We discussed the classification basing on whether it's hereditary material or not the hereditary material. We discussed the classification basing on the type of helix, and we have some other forms of DNA also. What is repetitive DNA? What is palindromic DNA? What is satellite DNA? That also we will see, and then we will end our today's session. Hope you understood this information. Now our next one is, we have some other types of DNAs, which is called satellite DNA, which is called repetitive DNA, which is called palindromic DNA. That also quickly let us see in this class itself. Right? So I told there's a DNA which is called palindromic DNA. Now what do you mean by palindrome in English, which has the same meaning this side and that side? Madam is a palindromic word. M-A-D-A-M this way, M-A-D-A-M this way also. It's a palindrome. Malayalam is a palindrome. In this way also it is Malayalam. In this way also it is Malayalam. Liril is a palindrome. This way also Liril. This way also Liril. Nitin. This way also Nitin. This way also Nitin. So these are palindromic words in English. But what is palindromic DNA? So 5' to the 3', the sequence is this side. On the opposite side also, if it has the same sequence, that is called a palindromic DNA. For example, I'll give a sequence 5'. If the sequence is G, A, T, T, C, 3'. One sequence I took. Now, opposite strand, since it is complementary, it is anti-parallel. So, here you will come with 5. Opposite to 3, 5 will be there. So, C pairs with G. T pairs with A, again T pairs with A pairs with T, A pairs with T, and G pairs with C, and since it is 5' this end will be 3'. So if you just see GAATTC this side and read this manner, GAATTC in this manner also. Such a DNA which is having the same sequence on both the sides as the same is called as palindromic DNA. Palindromic DNAs are very useful in rDNA technology and genetic engineering. Palindromic DNAs are useful in rDNA technology, biotechnology. They are used in genetic engineering. We are having 2 chapters with biotechnology. There we will take this and then we will study in detail. This is what is about palindromic DNA. There is one more DNA which is called repetitive DNA. Let us see that also. So the next one is repetitive DNA. What is repetitive DNA? Means a small sequence will be there. It is repeated again and again, then we call it as a repetitive DNA. The sequence which repeats many a times is called repetitive DNA. Sequence which repeats many times. The sequence which repeats many times is called as repetitive DNA. Now, where do we find repetitive DNA? Repetitive DNAs are part of non-coding sequences. Repetitive DNAs, they are part of non-coding sequences which don't code for any proteins. Okay. So this is another type of sequence then, DNA. Then the last one is satellite DNA. The last one is satellite DNA. Children, what is satellite DNA? Satellite DNA also has repeated sequences, but this satellite DNA, when you separate it during density gradient centrifugation, it gets separates as a small peak, appears like a satellite. So it is a highly repetitive DNA which forms a separate peak during centrifugation. So what is satellite DNA? It is highly repetitive DNA, means it has repetitive sequences only. So which forms a small peak like structures, like a satellite, it will make a small peak. When it will make a small peak? During centrifugation. Centrifugation is a separation technique. During centrifugation, if it makes a small peak, then it is called as satellite DNA. Again, these satellite DNAs are of two types. We call them as microsatellites and mini satellites. Microsatellites have a repeated sequences of how many base pairs? 1 to 6 base pairs. Mini satellites have a repeated sequences of 11 to 60 base pairs. Mini satellites are widely used in DNA fingerprinting technology. Mini satellites are widely used where? In DNA fingerprinting technology. We use it. So, hope you understood the lecture. What did I cover in this lecture? We covered everything related to the types of DNA. We have seen basing on the strands, we have seen basing on their shape, we have seen basing on the genetic information, we have seen basing on the type of helix, we have seen palindromic DNA, satellite DNA, repeated DNA, and one more is there, jumping DNA. That also I forgot. We will see jumping DNA. Jumping DNA is also called transposons. Jumping DNA is also called transposon. It is also called mobile genetic element. It is also called mobile genetic element. Means it can't fix to one place. It jumps from one place to another place. Okay. So McClintock, Barbara McClintock discovered these jumping genes. Who discovered it? Barbara McClintock discovered the jumping genes which are called transposons, which are called mobile genetic elements. They don't have constant places. They jump from one place to other place, right? So children, all this is the information about the types of the DNA. In the next session, we will discuss about the packaging of the DNA helix. If you like the content, like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.